folks, welcome back to the King Kong review series, and today we're jumping into the year 1980 to take a look at a very impressive short film entitled Shortcut. With that said, let's take a look. So this short film opens with a group of kids in a dirt biking race, which the film looks like it was shot in Toby Hooper's backyard. But hey, I deal with a lot of dirt bikers here in my neighborhood. Oh, shut the fuck up, you little shits! After doing a few sparring matches and getting some decent still shots, the Scooby-Doo gang here decide to get lunch.
Yeah, no shortcut to the woods. Back in no time.
All right, everyone, he said it. We can go home now. Gift bags at the door.
No, kids, don't go through the woods. They're filming Friday the 13th down the road. But the kids are suddenly halted by a sudden appearance of an escaped Harryhausen effect.
What the heck is that?
Oh, that's just the Geico Gecko. It's a fucking dinosaur! You can be a little more shocked at the sight of it, you know. Now go grab it and profit it for a higher budget than this film!
What are you waiting for? Probably.
After repeating the same shot from 20 seconds ago, one of the bikers goes off the road and the engine breaks down.
Guys, who was that thing you were chasing?
I think it was a dinosaur.
I love that kid's delivery on that line.
I think it was a dinosaur.
I think it was a dinosaur. But what if the dinosaurs weren't all destroyed? What if the impact of that meteor caused a parallel dimension that allowed the dinosaurs to thrive? And hey, what if they made it back? So the kids decide to explore the woods and come across a few prehistoric discoveries, including a massive bull triceratops. No, wait! Come back! If you leave me, they'll cut me out of the film! I am not getting creationed again, goddammit!
It's another dinosaur, right?
Hey, wait!
Huh, weird. It looks like they shot the same woodland area the Triceratops attacked in my version.
Sure, Universal are desperate for stock footage. Then sell it.
But they suddenly end up in a matte-painted cliffhanger.
Ruby, if you don't get out of here, come on!
I'm not dead.
Yeah, he says he's not dead.
Yes, he is. I feel fine. I feel happy. I feel...
Well, that's a first. Instead of going across the log, they go under the log. That totally would have saved the sailors in the original film much less trouble.
Everything I hear about this thing makes me like it less.
Jeez, why do I always have to save your...
But then all of a sudden, King Kong appears. There's your reveal. No sacrifice, no hidden in the shadows, nothing. He's just there, smelling the scent of the three-horned beast as the two meet and duke it out. You know, Jim Danforth's visuals of Kong fighting the Triceratops in The Legend of King Kong seems a lot more cheaper than I expected. Oh man, I guess the Triceratops learned what happened to the T-Rex in the original and pussed the hell out of there.
Come on, look out!
But one of the kids' cover is blown as Kong tries to nab him.
Help! 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 Don, do something!
Hey, you're the Andero of this movie. You do something! Oh, never mind. He's dead. Anyway, the last two kids run off and hide away from the giant ape.
Where are you, crazy?
Take it easy.
You know, no one's ever gonna believe you.
I have it all right here.
Hey, are you guys just gonna ignore the fact that two of your best friends are dead? I think a little psychological emotion is needed here after seeing them get killed by new forms of life that have been extinct for millions of years. So as the kids walk through this godly prehistoric wonder, they finally make it to civilization.
What now?
Well, I've got to go home. I got to develop these pictures. What happened?
You must have broken it when you fell.
So not only do your friends die, but the only thing you sacrificed everything for was for nothing? Man, thinking of the logic behind this film makes it a total mess, doesn't it? Well, anyway, here are my thoughts. So while this film is pretty lowbrow and lame when it comes to the plot, I gotta say, for the time and effort put into this shortcut, it's a decently created piece of filmmaking. While the characters seem lifeless, its biggest positives come from its visual point of view. You gotta give credit to Steve Koch and Bernard Lauer for their detail in creating different angles and camera tricks surrounding the film. This is also the first Super 8 film I've discovered that has its own sound design and score. While the audio is pretty crappy, it's still impressive that for the time on Super 8, this was very ambitious and probably pricey to include sound in the picture. However, its biggest compliment goes to, of course, the stop motion. For 8mm film, this looks fantastic. From the miniature sets, the matte painted backgrounds, and of course the creatures. The Triceratops as the main antagonist is a neat addition and a nice change of pace from the usual T-Rex. Although the puppet itself looks like it was borrowed off the set of a Gumby short.
What is that, Trixie? That sounds like a stampede. Come on, let's run for cover.
The Struthiomimus is also a nice little nod to the likes of Guanji by Ray Harryhausen, as well as the pterodactyl in a few shots. But of course, let's talk about Kong. While the puppet is impressively well animated, it looks almost identical to the Tim Smith model. I'm not necessarily saying it's the same model, but why do most of these models on Super 8 take from Mighty Joe Young and not King Kong? Who do I care? The movie's still good on its own. Originally, Steve Koch wanted to film a full-fledged remake of the original 1933 classic, and started off by creating the stop-motion puppet of Kong. But it wasn't until he met Bernard Lauer that the two discussed creating a different, more take-off version of the story, hence why they chose to set it in the woods instead of an island. To create the stop-motion models, he took reference from the iconic George Turner book, The Making of King Kong, but that's another story. To create the interactions with the live-action and animated models, they had to come up with many techniques similar to the original Kong, such as miniature and front screen projection, as well as glass paintings. Shortcut premiered at the Cinemagic SVA Short Film Festival and won first prize in the Super 8 category in 1981. And to this day, Steve Koch is still doing work in the film business, currently working as a makeup effects artist on a few shows for Netflix. In fact, looking into this guy's resume, holy shit, he's done more than I expected. You guys remember those animatronic dinosaurs from a bunch of old dinosaur documentaries and computer games back in the 90s? Well, yeah, it turns out he sculpted and created a lot of those dinosaur animatronics, so major props on the nostalgia for that one. If you want to learn more about the making of this film, take a look around for Starlog's Cinemagic Magazine, issue 11 for more details. Overall, Shortcut is a fine, good example of how to perfect the art of stop-motion visual effects on Super 8 in the 80s. While the characters and story are nothing special, it shows a lot of time and effort from the filmmakers involved and the many cinematography angles and special effects within the production. It's a damn good short for the time, and I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. A definite improvement over the likes of Kring Krong, among others. And after taking a shortcut like that, next time we'll be taking a look at one final 8mm film from the 80s. It's another spoof film, but it comes with a twist. For this is from Le France.
I think it was a dinosaur.